and I am so pleased to have Ben-Jamin Toy with us today. We've known each other for a while. I love what he does for entrepreneurs, especially team building wise. He is known as the global team builder. Benjamin, tell the audience a little bit about yourself.
Well, thanks for having me on, Doug. I'm excited about being here. And first, one of the things I like to say is more about how I'm actually reframing how I want to be known. I want to be known as kind, as a helper, as ambitious, as positive character traits versus, excuse me, the other things. I'm an entrepreneur. I am a husband. I am a friend. I'm a son. All the roles that I have, but those change. So I'm in the process of reframing all that. But I am ambitious. I am excited about life and all those things. So that is one of those things. But I own several companies based in Charleston, South Carolina.
I love that whole reframe. That is awesome. We're going to get into your actual entrepreneur story here in a minute, but I always like to start the guests with some simple, like getting to know you fun questions. So given that you deal a lot with teams, I want to ask you this question. Favorite team of all time? It could be a sports team. It could be any type of team, a fictional team, or a team that you know.
See, this question is great because it brings me back to childhood, but also such a vital part of who I am. And I would say it would be if they were doing crossover series somehow back in the day, it would be a team with MacGyver somehow. There was a universe where they were on the same team, right? And to me, it represents so much. One, they are, MacGyver was never setting out to do good. It just ended up always happening that he was, with the Phoenix Foundation and whatnot. But the A team was always trying to do good things, help folks out. They getting paid along the way, right? They were living their life. And I love that it was a team of different styles. They knew their role. They knew the leadership side, but each time they had to have different plans and everything. So I absolutely love the A team as far as problem solving. And as a skill that's needed in today's society, being able to solve problems is what we pay for at this point.
Yeah. For some of our younger audience that may not know who the A team was, it was a compilation of different character styles for sure, but they all melded together very, very well. And it was an amazing team, and that's why they were able to accomplish the things that they were able to accomplish, is because of the team that's put together. So
in more recent time, 10 years ago, was a great movie with Liam Neeson and Bradley Cooper. So if you want to get something recent, you can get to see them in action, basically. And I'm so sad they never got a sequel. It was just such a great movie.
I could see them bringing it back around again.
Yep.
Yeah. My next question is, I actually want you to finish this sentence. The best thing to do when faced with a huge decision is?
Filter it through the question, is this a wise choice? Andy Stanley wrote a book on the greatest question ever. And when you filter something through the wise filter, it rings differently. You can say, is this financially prudent? Is it smart? Is it fun? All the different things. And no matter what, if you ask that with each of those filters, you might get a different answer each time. But somehow, instinctively, we're able to intrinsically, internally know if it's a wise choice or not. So that's been my thing. There's maybe some prayer involved, there's some discussion, but I also just go with my gut a lot of times. But that gut is it a actual wise choice? Because I've made plenty of mistakes, and a lot of times I just make them right. But I've adopted the wise choice thing in the last 10 years, and it's really helped me.
Nice. I think there's a lot of value in picking up on that. So usually we get into the expertise stuff, but there's a lesson right in that right there. So I hope everyone's listening to filter all your decisions through that wise filter. My next question is, what do you wish more people were informed about or educated about?
Whew, so many things there. The biggest thing that I would say there is the desire for personal development. So many folks don't, they feel I'm good as I am and that's it. And I believe that most success is based on agricultural paradigm. You're either ripening or you're rotting. And so if you're not trying to get better, and this is not an achievement thing. I am actually not a very results-oriented person. I am a journey.
Mm.
The journey is the destination, the growth. We can only just get better. And so I wish more people spent time getting to know themselves and learning how to make bridges. There's a challenge with personality typing and things like that, where they label it. I'm this way, so deal with it, accept it, etc. No, the point of personality typing is to understand that people are different and then figure out how to make those bridges to both, that you work both together, to put it together with their skill sets and their mindset.
Nice, nice. You and I are co-authors in a book that's coming out soon, and I could see maybe some of that, what you're talking about, is going to be in that book. And I just finished writing my chapter. It's not a final draft, but it's funny because a lot of things that you just said I picked up on. Like I was not growing through part of my journey, right? And it's just amazing, and I can't wait for that book to come out. And that, just so everybody knows, that book is called Dear Younger Me, I Wish You Knew, 15 Powerful Letters That Will Change Your Life. It's going to be released early Q1, so be on the lookout for that. Now let's get into your story. I don't really know your story, even though I've known you for a little while. Like how you got into entrepreneurship, and then how you got to where you are now.
Entrepreneurship started at a very young age. I will actually caveat the chapter of the book that the chapter that I'm writing is all, Dear Ben, you're not an entrepreneur.
Oh,
but it's
wow.
all, exactly. It's about identity. Don't hang up on the identity. So this is all intertwined, right? But I'm going to say that I'm an entrepreneur because I am, but it's not what I live by, right? So I started the hustle, if you will, at probably 12-ish. Always trying to figure out ways to make money or whatever. Mowed grass and shoveled driveways in snow. I'm from Pennsylvania, up in Pittsburgh, and lived in a trailer park from middle school into high school. Would have customers that were in the summer were lawn care business, and then in the winter we're snow business. So making money early that way. Always found great ways to make some good money. And at one point I had other classmates of mine mowing grass because I bought several lawnmowers at the time, right? Nice. So $10 a yard, and I would make $5, it was great. But so from there I went into engineering. I didn't want to go into college. I actually just had no desire. My mother was self-employed, my grandfather in a couple restaurants, and I don't know, just there wasn't much future planning. I really didn't have much of a plan or dream or whatever, but good in math and science. And so Clemson said, come on down, we got it all taken care of. And they did that my junior year. So I came, they had no stress my senior year, like a lot of folks would have, and got 650 miles away from home, which was kind of the goal, just to get out of it and do something new. Very small town in Pennsylvania was where I came from. And engineering, I did that for a little while. Co-ops with an automotive company. Realized very early on that the politicking system of corporate America was not for me. I went to the plant manager's office one day. I was being fast-tracked. I was 21 and had 25 people reporting to me, involved in a project that I was spearheading. And I went to the plant manager's office, and I wanted to ask him out to lunch and pay for it. I wanted to find out what he did to get where he was. Was it worth it? The next day, 3 levels of management between me and him. We never got to have the lunch because the secretary, was taking this down. And then I was in the office with 3 other managers, and they asked, why did I try to talk to him without their permission? Yeah. Wow. So that's a fun one. And I realized at that point the corporate world wasn't going to be for me. I realized that engineers weren't making much more than I was at the co-op at that time, even more, been there 30 years. So I actually left the school, dropped out, and helped a buddy start a book publishing company that's headquartered in Charleston. That's about 50 million. We started that, and then I left them in 2008. So been with them. Wasn't my thing, but it was me and him. We got things rolling. I've always been with startups since 2004. So that's the thing. I've been with startups in the entrepreneurial journey. And then in 2011, I was in sales for 2011, I was in sales for a trucking company, and had worked 2 years up to getting my commissions to where they were going to pay commissions, or my sales up to commissions, right? Running 350,000 a month in revenue. And my base was pretty nice, but for 6 months I had to fight to actually get the commissions that I was earning. And I said, well, if I got to fight for money, I might as well go do it on my own. I was part of a mastermind program, or a group where we met every Monday at 8 o'clock, and I got called out. Like, well, you've been complaining about the job and they're not doing this. What are you going to do about it? And from there, I created the format of the business, which was 11 years ago, to learn how to get paid to play. I wanted to plan whitewater rafting trips and hiking and all of those kind of things. And so that's what the business started out as. It's evolved. There's been pivots along the way, but then there's also been evolutions where it was bachelor party, adventure-based bachelor parties. Then a little bit more of bigger group events. I had the largest zombie race in the Southeast that we produced. So
Wow.
all these different things that I cut my teeth on. And then back in 2018, we decided to focus a little bit more on the corporate side of things. So that's kind of where we're at to now. And then COVID actually was a godsend for us in one way. It was horribly financially for us, but it really made us focus in a different way. And that's a hard thing for some entrepreneurs, and myself included, being a high D personality, a type 8 in the Enneagram, all the things, right? This is the way I'm going. I'm going to make it right and just toil. I'm just going to work hard. And it was a total reset. But that's a little bit of my entrepreneurial journey. I took the entrepreneurial spirit to every job I had, and I was the best and worst employee anytime I was employed, right?
Yeah.
Always a self-starter, finding new ways to do this, questioning authority, all the things. But it's kind of hard to argue with a guy that's bringing in $350,000 a month in revenue. So, I could have stayed with that job forever, and they would have never questioned a thing, right?
Yeah.
But I wanted to have more of a purpose, make more of a difference than I was at that time. So
It's amazing to hear your story, because there's a lot of differences, but I can see some parallels between your and my story at a lot of points. And it's just a great realization that you and I are so alike, because there was one portion where I went into sales. I wasn't as I didn't get a good sales job. Let's just put it that way. I was selling a product I didn't believe in, right? And so it was hard for me to make sales. But what I realized is I learned a lot from that sales position, and that I actually was good if I could just get a product that I believed in, right?
Right.
So,
and it's easy to sell something when it's your product too.
Yes.
For some people, you believe in it more, and there's energy with it. Other folks have trouble believing in themselves, so they can only sell somebody else's if they believe in the product. But along that journey, though, I've bought and sold a couple companies too. So.
Nice. Now let's dive into your expertise a little bit. I know you are big with helping, just having your own your own company culture, as well as helping others with their company culture. Can you talk about the secret to having a good company culture?
This is I would say a new, rediscovered, or a thing that I have really adapted to in the last 3 years. I met an author and a retention expert named Dr. Troy Hall. And he has a book called Cohesion Culture, Proven Principles to Retain Your Top Talent. And we connected, and he shadowed one of my programs. And I was already experientially teaching the concepts in his book. And so he said, I want to be the book you talk about. So we have now created this entire program together. It is incredible of what we've been doing. But the greatest secret then is infusing cohesion into the workplace, because it is a causal experience that when you have cohesion into a culture, it produces and increases performance and engagement. Most people want to say, oh, if we get engagement up and we get them active and doing these things, we'll get all these other things. Actually flipped the other way. And through his PhD research, he said, once you infuse these three things of belonging, value, and shared mutual commitment, and everybody's on board with that, performance is actually increased. 50% increase in productivity and efficiency when cohesion is present. So that doesn't mean you're changing anybody's culture. You can be a culture of service, joy, innovation, engineering, whatever your culture is, that's fine. But you have to infuse cohesion, because it's a framework of how to have people connect with each other. And then also, the shared mutual commitment part is a hard thing for the old guard leadership style in many companies, where it's not towing the company line. It's, I want to know what drives you, and then we're going to figure out how what the company needs and what you need work together. And be okay with the fact that it may only be a 3-year deal. you have to get out of this mindset. We are in a workforce that people are they're going to choose their life. People want passion more than the paycheck. And so when companies realize that, they will have somebody be better for the time they have them if they add the cohesion piece in there. Because now it used to be 63%. Recent survey said 71% of people are seeking advancement, development, and growth. That doesn't mean raises and promotions. They just want to be poured into. They want to be better than what they were. They want to grow. They want to ripen, not rotten. So
nice. And this is so relevant for this day and age right now, with so many companies having trouble hiring. A lot of companies are focusing on hiring, right? And I think they also need to think about retention of the people that they have, right? That's huge. Like, it's just like the whole getting a client thing. It's easier to keep the clients you have, like, and grow revenue there than it is to bring in new clients.
It costs 50% of a person's salary that's been with you 3 years to replace them.
Wow.
And that's not even counting the payment of getting them and the money that might happen there. But you're losing intellectual, like institutional knowledge when someone leaves. They know that you have to, kick the printer and do this thing, and you don't talk to, Mary's taking her mother in for chemo on Wednesday, so she's going to be a little, aloof for the day. So give it a good, all the stuff that about a company and organization has a value to it. And right now it's been hard. People are saying it's hard to find people. The thing that they have to focus on the ones they have, because if you're not giving them development and growth opportunities, they're going somewhere else, right? And so why not try to retain them? Because exactly the point. You can actually retain people without raising salaries or increasing benefits by just having an infusion of cohesion. When people love where they work, 87% will stay there.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. So now I want to ask you another question. Can you dive into the importance of knowing your identity and role as an entrepreneur when it comes to growing a business?
Absolutely.
I think a lot of entrepreneurs and business owners struggle here.
Very much so. And this is where it's one of those things that when you're just getting started and it's just you, or maybe you and a small team, to realize that your culture, the things that you're wanting to do, have to be intentional. Because for the first part, people are coming on your personality. They're seeing your vision. But if you're not clear on what that is and how other people connect with that, it gets diluted along the way. So separating identity from role. I like to say who you big I, is not who you are, capital R, for role. Okay? We have lots of hats. We have lots of roles that we have. Spouses, employers, children, parents, all the things, right? And you can perform poorly in any role during a given week, but it doesn't change who you actually are. You are still that, for my case, I'm still that in process of being kind. I am still that strong person. I am still that problem solver. I am still that champion for the person that needs a hand up. I am that person regardless on my performance that week. And that's a big thing is, okay, what happens if you were in this business and it didn't work well? Do you hang on to that and let it destroy you and then get a job? Oh, I tried one time. Or do you keep on going? Like, we have to separate the thing that we're doing from who we actually are. And when you say, okay, well, when an entrepreneur does that doesn't matter. Is that what I do? Is would a successful person, reframing it of, I'm a person that goes to the gym. When I look in the future, I want to be this. I'm a person that works out. I don't want to say that I'm a fit guy, because I'm not. I'm going to say I'm a person that works out 3 times a week. That is who I am, right? And I'm talking more about the character traits. So being able to separate the difference is, one, starting with the label in general, just saying, okay, because there's debate on there on what is an entrepreneur, because what being an entrepreneur is used to just be a business owner, and they had to add the phrase serial entrepreneur to imply that you're doing multiple things, which is actually what entrepreneur used to mean. So all these different things, and you've got the mompreneurs and solopreneurs and all that. Stop with the labels, first off, because then you're trying to be whatever you think that version of that label is. And you have to just figure out who you are as a person, what skills, what traits you want to persist with, and then move forward.
Yeah, I love that. And it also makes me think of how you prioritize those labels, right? And it shows in how you act, right? If you prioritize that you're an entrepreneur, sometimes you'll put that above being a family man, being a friend, right? So you got to, so that's the danger of labels, right? And
I had to battle that so much in the last couple of years because I realized I was being a poser in the area of the recognition. The achievement that I wanted was to be known as the guy that always had these cool new things going on. But I never saw any of them to fruition. I would literally build something, know it was viable, sell it one time, and then move on. But then I wasn't helping my family because that is a ticket that actually then can become a passive revenue source or something that can make a lot more money. I was driven. I was driven by the next thing, the shiny. I am the quintessential entrepreneur on the shiny object syndrome. Oh, this, and so I have all these things unfinished or finished to a point of that's all I cared. I did the task. That's it. I don't care. I don't need an ROI. When we go into personality, I do DISC assessments and leadership training based on DISC. And one of the driving forces is, do you want to be known for, or do you factor things in by the ROI of them or the accomplishment of them? I'm the accomplishment of them, not the ROI. So it's understanding yourself. It all ties back into the biggest trait. Once you understand what drives you and what you need for your household, it's drastically different on how you make choices, because now I know what a wise decision is. I used to focus on being busy and not productive. And that was a badge of honor.
Yeah, that's an awesome difference between the two of being productive. You can do less you can do more in less time sometimes when you're productive. So that's awesome. So can you also talk about how talk about the difference? I sent this question to you and we talked about it beforehand. I'm going to try and rephrase it so that you can give me the best answer possible. How the difference between a successful passion purpose-based business versus a skill, trade, or opportunity-based business.
Okay. So a future business of mine will be actually helping coach or train people that want to have passion or purpose-based businesses, because the difference of running a passion or purpose-based business is different from a tradesman. Like if you are a bricklayer or a plumber, and that is your trade and skill, but it may not be the actual passion you have, right? But you fell into this opportunity, you've been doing it for years, you're gonna make good money at it. I can't attest or speak to that because that isn't how mine really worked out. Or some people just say it's an opportunity. I got into real estate because it was great money, and that was the motivation force. And there are a lot of folks that would argue on this, but they say, hey, I love it so much, I would do it for free. Okay, so you would show people around for a month and never, everybody, and not plan on making money. That may change the answer. I would actually do my stuff for free, and I would go figure out how to make money somewhere else, because the money aspect of what I do isn't the end goal. It is the empowerment of people, right? Versus the transaction, because that's why you may only do it. So the difference is, a lot of times when you're seeking a passion or purpose, and I'm slashing those two because I love Mike Rowe's definition of this, of you don't want to follow passion, because if you're not competent in it, you're never going to, you're not going to make money in it. Oh, I love baking. Nobody likes your cooking. Like nobody likes your products, right? So there has to be some competency in it. Just because you love it doesn't mean it will be something you can make money with, right? And that's where, if you follow purpose, if you know that you're going to do something and it wakes up and it consumes your thoughts, right? In some cases, it's important. But there are things to do along the way that will help avoid burnouts. We've heard of the great chef that loves cooking, that runs the restaurant, the business runs him ragged, and doesn't cook at home anymore or for family, and then just burns out of cooking because of the business aspect of things, right? And it's so many ways of doing that. And there are little nuances of how do you still keep that passion alive when you're making money with it? Like, are you able to set the boundaries so that you can actually take some downtime so that you are off in the evenings and then can go do it again the next day? Because if you're doing it 12, 14, 15 hours, there's gonna be burnout there. Often I say I'm exhausted. They ask me how things are going. Like, I'm exhausted. I'm still having a blast. So it hasn't been work in 11 years, but I can be exhausted when you're giving, fun things. Like, you could love hiking. Well, that's exhausting, right? You could love kayaking, but that can be exhausting. It doesn't change your love for it, but it can wear you out. And I think the difference is that you will go way past the exhaustion point for a purpose and passion-based business than you will for an opportunity-based. When you're looking at the ROI and only at the money aspect of things, you're not going to possibly persist as long as the person that wants to see it, because they want to be 10 years down the road doing what they love. And so, but there's a balance there of also teaching them how to be profitable earlier on. Most passion and purpose-based businesses, in addition to the normal stats of businesses failing, they may go on a little bit longer, but they're not profitable because it's such a passion for them. But then they've been miserable for 3 years, right? So there are techniques of learning how to have a balance in that side of business ownership that may not exist in the trade, because the business is always coming in. If you're the plumber, you're the bricklayer, whatever, that business is there. You don't have to really grow something out of nothing or something, because it's something that people always need, versus you coming up with something unique that people may not need or automatically know. You have to then craft the problem and sell the problem to folks.
Yeah, so many things come to mind. What I'd like to have you speak on also is, because let's go back to the passion and not being good at it, right? Don't you believe that if you're passionate, really passionate enough about something, that you would learn to do it well?
Yes, I would say that some people there, but I think there's a difference in maybe today's society, that we are not even, we used to say microwave society. No, we're in a streaming society, dealing with commercials, not fast speed internet, all the things, right? There has been a change in the marketplace of understanding that things still take time. Malcolm Gladwell talked about the 10,000 hour rule in Outliers, right? And what's amazing, and I highly recommend this book, talks about they're finding out outliers are not just individuals with immense talent. There were all these other environmental things that actually got them to be there. And what it came down to finding out was that most people became what they are because of the 10,000 hours. But it started up, they had a little bit extra skill. Then were given an opportunity to train or practice more or do it more. And then they loved more because they got better and they got better, right? The difference between a professional violinist versus a high school music teacher. By the age of 20, somebody that wants to go pro has 10,000 hours in, and the high school music teacher has 2,000 to 3,000 hours in, because they weren't practicing for practice sake to improve, right? And so that makes a difference. But some people in today's society, if they're not good immediately, they shelve it off to the next thing. And they're always wondering why I can't find something that I'm great at. So yes, I believe that if you practice at it, you will get better. It comes down with the mindset of understanding that you may suck to start, but you have to put in the time. Like, case in point. So I have two nieces that are both turning 13, 6 months apart. My wife and I are going to ask them over this coming weekend when we go to see them. They've been talking about snowboarding. My wife and I's passion, we love to snowboard together. And we're going to ask them, they've been talking about wanting to go snowboarding, but we have to sit down with them this weekend and explain to them, we want to teach you. You have to give a 3-day commitment to do this, and it's going to hurt. It's not like, there's no sugarcoating this. Like, we can teach you, and I've taught a lot of people over 26 years of teaching. You're going to fall. I can't keep you up. I can't keep you not from falling, but you're going to learn from that process. So we're literally going to get their commitment now before we take them in March, basically. And I don't know how 13-year-olds in this generation that have not done anything this hard before are going to take it.
Oh, right. Yeah. Yeah. Because there's so much looking for the immediate gratification without going through the hard stuff first.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and we try to make sure that when we do our programming, I don't do ageism. I don't want to classify, okay, this is how one person old thinks, but there's also the data, the statistics things I've experienced with the grouping. I've worked with 15,000 youth in 11 years, because we do a lot of school events and youth events and all that kind of stuff. And just to see the changes in the last decade of how students interact with each other, and versus uplifting people and all that kind of stuff. And same with adults. You know, it's so interesting when I have a client that has a mix of 50-year-olds and 24-year-olds, right? And how we have to get them to see eye to eye and where they both have value and all those types of things.
Yeah, the other part, and it kind of ties into what you said about the 13-year-olds, is the franchise model. If you just want to be a business owner, right, you could go buy a franchise. The model's already proven and everything like that. But if you have a passion, if that's not your passion, it's something totally different.
Right. It makes a world of difference on what the goal. You have to actually filter the wise choice. Do I want to do this? Do I want to put in all the effort, or buy into the system that's going to make me money? Are you making the decision for the financial side of it? Because there aren't that many entrepreneurs that say, when you give the list of all the things that's required to be an entrepreneur, that most people don't sign up for it. Right. It's just a compulsion. I'm unemployable, right? It's nobody's going to pay me $1 million to work as little as I do. Like, you know, it's just crazy. I mean, the right person probably would, because the value they would see and all that, but like, it's a crazy scenario there. And it's important to me, owning the one restaurant. Like, if you, not even a franchise, if you just own one restaurant, again, the semantics of being an entrepreneur. No, you're a business owner. Just, you know, you have that one thing. You're not trying to sell it. You're not trying to do it. It's fulfilling your lifestyle. That's okay. But you're not trying to pick up and leave, right? Tony Robbins, I was at an event with him a little while ago, and he said there's a couple different types of business owners. There's the manager, there's the artist, there's the entrepreneur, all these types of things. He has 189 companies or something, right? $7 billion in revenue that he brings in. He asked people, what do you think I am? And everyone's like, entrepreneur. And he's like, wrong. Tony Robbins is not an entrepreneur. He is an artist. He bought all of the other companies for the passive income side of things and learn from other people to manage them and do all that kind of stuff. But the thing that he does himself is his own personal development journey type stuff. The Day with Destiny, all those things are what he does because he's an artist. The craft, that is his passion. And he learned the skills to manage the other things, because at first he tried to outsource those and he was getting taken advantage of. So he had to learn those skills to know what to look for. And then you can become a successful, you know, entrepreneur. But that is not the label that he identifies with, because he doesn't want to sell. Like, he didn't, most people, a lot of entrepreneurs build something up to sell. If you're not willing to leave it, then you're not really that. So I don't know if I ever want to leave on purpose, except it's going to create a lifestyle that I want, and then I start other things. So it'll always be the artist side of me doing the personal development things.
Yeah, I love everything that you just said, because I'm like you. I don't know if I could ever sell what I'm doing, because I'm so, the passion is there. This is who I am. This is part of I love building the relationships, doing these podcasts, building a community, helping entrepreneurs, with having guests like you on the show and just pouring into them, right? So that'd be something very hard for me to sell and walk away from. Right. So that's awesome. Well, it has been awesome having you on the show today, Ben-Jamin. I know you have something that you'd like to offer the audience. Can you talk about that? And I can even bring it up here on the screen here in just a second.
Sure thing. So a strategic alliance between myself and my company, On Purpose Adventures, On Purpose Team Building, and Dr. Troy Hall, world-renowned talent retention expert. We saw the need to create a leadership development program with that cohesion culture infusion. And we came up with this and relaunched it in March of 2021. And it is a personal development journey about being a leader, because the first 2 chapters of the book, Cohesion Culture, are about being a leader. So even if you have a small company, this program actually helps you, understand the framework of a good cohesion culture, cohesive culture, but it also, for the folks that want to get raises or promotion or development, this is a behind the scenes look at what other folks are looking for to advance and grow. So right now, cohesionculturecourse.com is a 5-module, can be done in 5 weeks, can be done in 10 weeks. It is a drip fed 1 week at a time. It's got homework. This is not about this is not a money-making course. This is a growth course, a personal development growth course. And as you do it, 80% of the individuals that have taken it have gotten raises or promotions in the last 2 years that have done it. But companies that we've put through, one of the companies that has been going with us for 2 years just won 2 Best Place to Work awards. one from kudos.com, which is the engagement platform that actually LinkedIn runs on. They did a case study on one of our clients and mentioned us by name, Cohesion Culture by name. And then the state of Michigan just awarded them a best place to work as well. So this course is done. You can stretch out as long as you want, but every 7 days, it actually unlocks it. But using for the entrepreneur journey, EJ 20 off, you get 20% off. So it takes it down from $700 to $560. Honestly, it should be way more. But again, that's part of our value. We also work with companies that buy it for the entire companies. We have licensing rates and all that kind of stuff. But I'm excited about this. I have my own team going through it finally. So we have my biggest part of my team is a kayak company, so it's seasonal, so it's off time right now. And it is a fun thing. You get caught if you go into the course. You also get the audio book and the ebook are included in the bonuses. You get 12 teachable moments as well. All in all, it's a $5,000 offer for $560. It's pretty crazy. So.
Yeah, I would tend to agree with that. When you just share, I didn't know the price beforehand, but when you just shared that, I'm like, wow, why people should be lining up and beating down your door. If you have any type of team, this would be awesome for you to go through. I highly recommend it to anyone. And I expected you to come on and say, oh, this is $3,000. This is you should get it for the people that are listening. You should get it while it's this price, because I think it probably won't be that long before he raises the price.
As an individual, this is designed for the individual, right?
Okay.
And because it's not a direct money making thing, it's going to be personal. We want to impact people, right? Where we make our money is the companies that buy it for the 50, 100, 200, 300 people, right? So we work with that, but this is on the individual. You can do it. It's better than a college credit, in the soft skills of leadership skills. And I mean, there's going to be, it is be a leader. It is there's 3 filters or 3 things you have to first agree to before taking the program. 1, that you are a leader, that everybody is a leader because you can teach somebody something, right? 2, that you're teachable. Going through it without saying that and agreeing that you're teachable is pointless. And then 3 is filter this program and the learning through the eyes of a CEO. And that may be you. You may be a CEO, but if you aren't and you are trying to work on your side hustle, this helps you give the framework of it. If it was yours, what decisions would you make? Because this takes you through homework and workshop and worksheets of, okay, what were good examples of culture that you worked with in the past? What have been bad examples? What did you like about places you work now and not or didn't work at, or whatever the case is? So it takes you through this thought journey. It's only 2 hours of actual video training. And then there's 12 teachable moment videos and all that, lots of bonuses and all that kind of stuff. But again, that's not really where we're trying to make our money. We work with big companies, so it's fun.
Well, go check it out, cohesionculturecourse.com. One other question I have about this, is it for people that already have like a team, even if it's a small team, or is it people that are thinking or on the cusp of bringing on a team? Can you kind of talk about who it's for?
It's for both. Okay. So if you have a team, it's going to be great. It's going to help you establish and think through the intentionality of building culture. If you're just getting started or wanting to advance, it's really designed for somebody that has been doing what they've been doing, let's say as an employee or W-2. If you've been stuck for 3 to 5 years and you're wondering why you're not getting the promotions, but think about this also as a business owner. If you're thinking about, okay, I've been doing good in sales, but I just don't have the next thing, and I haven't found employees that stuck and all that kind of stuff. So it really addresses that mindset of the I'm stuck mindset, right, at 3 to 5 years. And so while you have a team, it helps you be more intentional with it. If you don't have a team, it helps you think through, okay, well, here are the things that I have to change internally, right? We have to be better. What you are is not good enough. I'm gonna, sacred cows mooing all over here, right? We're slaughtering them, but you have to be more than what you are, right? You've learned along the way. And that's not a bad thing to say, I want to be better. There are things that I don't know. And that's that first part about being teachable, is accepting the fact that I don't know everything. And I have a manager that is a ID type 8, and her aha moments of going through this program, because she's actually referenced in the course, and she just watched the video about it. She's like, oh my gosh. And she shared that story and all that kind of stuff. So it was really, really fun. I didn't reference her by name, but she of course knew that it was a story about her.
Nice.
But she said, you're either have to coach me up or coach me out, because I don't want to change. I do not want to change. And we're chipping off a little bit of here and that exterior and all that, because I will be some ageism here. She is borderline boomer, right? And wants people to show up for their paycheck and do their job and shut up and not all the feels and all that kind of stuff. But she's understanding the differences now. So it's been a fun journey that we have to. We're not kept separate from it too. Like, we have our own struggles. People are people, and we have to learn to work with all of them.
Yeah, nice. Any parting words of wisdom for our entrepreneurs today?
Fall in love with the journey. I love the expression of the journey is the destination is so, in most cases, people say cliche, but when you fall in love with the process, and actually I was on a call this morning about the introvert's edge and how introverts can succeed in life. It's because they follow a process. They're not emotionally driven in sales or whatever. So introverts, sometimes aren't heard, but they can lead well because they have a process. So fall in love with the journey of becoming. That's it.
Yeah, that's how you'll be happy. Because oftentimes when you get to the destination, you're left unfulfilled. Oh, this is it.
Oh, studies and there's so much data to prove that if you only set the time to celebrate the big magnanimous wins, the thing that follows that big win is depression. You have to have the milestones, the middle, the small, like celebrate those small wins daily. We work with clients on doing that. Celebrate the quarterly things, or just, hey man, I got my inbox to 0. It's never. I got 20,000, in mind, so it's not going to happen. But it's not a goal for me. So.
Not a goal for me either.
No.
I don't know if it'll ever be to 0.
Yeah.
So thank you again, Ben-Jamin, for being on the entrepreneur journey. And until next time, keep moving forward.